Shall I start, Srini?
Yeah, 1 second.
Hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, your screen is visible. I have no, your presentation. I have to now hand it over to you.
No, you're sharing the screen?
No. You are only going to share the screen. I'm making you as
Okay.
the host. Yeah. Now please go ahead. You can share your screen.
Okay. Okay. So thank you, Srini, for the intro. Hello, everyone. A very good evening and a warm welcome to all here. So myself, Karthik Nachiappan. I'm an architect by profession, and I've been more passionate about traveling, like say how Keaton's is so passionate about organizing theme-based and very exciting trips. So I've been passionate about traveling for more than 15 years. So over the years, I've covered around, say, 60, 65 countries, exploring on different aspects of nature, culture, architecture, art, history, archaeology, unique landmarks, food, and city planning. So architecture and city planning are my main force. So I travel based on that, but in fact, I end up looking at everything what a city offers to us. So I've never ever made a trip passing over countries or cities. So I stay there. I stay there like a local, and I explore a lot over there. So today I'm just gonna pick your mind with some aspects of my recent trail to Japan. So I was so excited because the excitement is still there, though it has been 2 or 3 months since I came back. The excitement is still there. So it has left an everlasting set of memories that ever since I've got back, I've been talking to Srini on organizing a theme-based trip to Japan. So when I travel, I almost travel like a local. Means I commute through buses, I take local trains, I take the metros, and I walk along the beautiful streets. And in fact, the streets talk to us. They have a lot more within them that shows us what the city is all about. So as an introductory line, I would just want to say that if you go to Japan to see different cities, you will definitely need to travel by trains. Of course, the Shinkansen, all of you should have heard about the bullet trains. It is easy to travel from one city to another, or even within cities, maybe Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. But sometimes we tend to, on a general idea, everyone knows if you go to Japan, it's Tokyo. But there are a lot more cities that has different sites and different vibes to experience about. So my travel started from my travel agenda was around 2,000 kilometers. So I started from the Met in Osaka. So my travel plan started from Osaka, as it has been called a city of bridges, or it's 808 bridges of Naniwa. Traditionally, it is called as Naniwa and not Osaka. So it is a beautiful city to arrive at because I got the flights at a much better rate, and traveling to and from Japan from the center gives you a different perspective. So each region has its own geography, landscape, and different culture. So it has a beautiful life, a dazzling nightlife, and a network of beautiful canals and bridges. So from there, it is Osaka is a full blend of, say, contemporary universe fused with some Edo period buildings. So from there, I took a trip to Fukuoka, which is towards the western end in the last days, as you can see. So it passes through Hiroshima. It's an ancient harbor town. So this place had a lot of opportunities to rent a bicycle and move around the city to give a different perspective of Japan. And then from Osaka, I traveled to Kobe, Kyoto, places surrounding Osaka. Kyoto is a beautiful city that was originally the old capital. So Kyoto has become Tokyo. So if you just reverse it, it becomes Tokyo. So Kyoto was the original capital of Japan in the ancient Edo times. And then I happened to visit Kanazawa and Shirakawa-go, which is one of the beautiful UNESCO listed places in the world. And I have a beautiful picture to show you how Shirakawa-go looks in all 4 seasons, though I traveled in just one season. and then end back to Kanazawa, which looks like it has beautiful samurai houses. So Japan, a lot of us have come across this term samurai. So they had beautiful typology of samurai houses, and that is also a UNESCO listed village. And then the trip shifted to the eastern part where you could see Tokyo. And then from there, I went to Kawago, uh, Hakone, which is Mount Fuji. So obviously, when you go to Japan, you need to look at Mount Fuji. At least the view of Mount Fuji is necessary. So I ended my trip in Tokyo and came back. So in my presentation, I've just posted some of my travel photos and I'm just going through the same because of the constraints of the time. So I've just collected a set of photographs and I hope it would be a little learning experience as well as a visual treat for all of you. So this is one of the, so I've just based my presentation. So talking about the first traditional era, then contemporary and a little use of technologies in Japan. So that's how I faced my presentation. So this is the first place I visited once I landed in Osaka. It's called the Edo Museum, where you could see a typical community, a neighborhood, a live neighborhood has been set up inside. So this is not like a conventional museum view where you walk around and you have exhibits. Here, the community itself is set up as an exhibit. So it shows the prelims of ways of life during the Edo period. So the picture towards the left shows the entry gate where you could see a small symbol that is being carved here. So it is basically the name of the community which is being engraved. So this is an entry gate. Every community has its own name. So every community is of say 30 to 40 houses. It has its own activity happening within. So within this, each of one has different typologies of houses. So they have community houses, they have private houses, and they also have work and live typology of houses. So in the middle, you could see a toy shop. So it seems like Japanese culture has always tuned towards an enriched love towards terracotta dolls, which are painted in different colors. That also depicts a lot of Japanese ideals. And then towards the right, you could see an interesting wooden drain. So we have usually seen gutters in our cities, right? So the ancient Edo streets have very good paved road system with wooden drains. And these are also ancient ways of harvesting rainwater. So the water gets collected into the drain. They show a rain filter mechanism and it goes towards the tank, which is located in each community. So watershed management was also part of the Edo community. Interestingly happened to visit one of the actual setups. So towards the image shown in the left, it's a setup of a pharmacy. So it's an actual setup of one of the largest pharmacies of those time, which shows the wooden pullouts. You could see those are numbered, those are being labeled with the medical supplies elaborately and displayed in a synchronous manner. And you could see these traditional tatami mats on the floor, the paper screens, which were also part of ancient technology of Japan. My objective. So the first objective or the first thing that attracted me to go to Japan was this village towards the right called as Shirakawago. As I said, it is a UNESCO listed village. So these type of houses, this typology of houses, as a housing student, having a master's in housing, I've always been intrigued by these styles of houses. May it be in India, I've traveled around a lot of places exploring these rural typology of houses. So this is one that intrigued me, and this is the first thing that I wanted to look at. So this is called as a gasho style house. A literal translation means prayer hands construction, like joining hands, prayer hands, like a typical pyramid style. So it is characterized by a steep and a slanting thatched roof, like resembling two hands joined together in a prayer form. So the design is exceptionally strong and it's combined with unique properties of thatching that allows the thatches to withstand any kind of temperature. So even a heavy snowfall or even a rainfall. So you could also see a type of an open storage setup towards the left. You could see the attic having the open storage setup for the supplies of the houses. So each one is being resided by one private or a joint family having separate shared and private spaces. So this was the image that I wanted to share where Shirakawa go seen in all four types of seasons. So you could see beautiful cherry blossom or the autumn orange leaves. So the village becomes orange and picturesque. In summer, pretty green and the agricultural happens. And in the winter with Christmas lights. So this most of the villages in Japan seem to be like this in all 4 seasons of the year, which is something very interesting to visit. So on my way back, so I was looking at I halted in a station called as Kanazawa. So one of my enchanting experiences in Kanazawa, just simply strolling around the city's historic districts. So the image towards the right is an actual samurai house in the olden days. So the people who worked under the Edo period on the kingdoms under the shogun as a samurai, they usually teach samurai inside the houses, practice samurai, and they also lived here. So there are two important districts in the city. One is Higashi Chaya. So that is basically a souvenir district, and more of luxury houses came into it. And this is called as Nagamachi. So this is basically a samurai district where some of the houses are still inhabited by samurai clan, but it's still not open to people. So the point of interest here that was made is this composite wall. You could see the wall that is made of a mix of adobe, rammed earth, bamboo, thatch, and wood. So it's a beautiful composition. I've never seen this kind of a mix of materials that are being used in architecture. One cannot miss this temple. So I think most of you would have seen this online called as Fushimi Inari Temple. So Japan, like how Buddhism is prevalent in Asian countries, Shinto is the religion that is followed in Japan. So Fushimi Inari Shrine is an important Shinto shrine. Like it's the pinnacle of Shinto religion. So it's in kind of southern Kyoto. It is famous for its 1,000 gates, the 1,000 vermilion gates, the orange style, the saffron style gates. So these are pillars. The ones you see towards the right are the pillars. So these are 1,000 torii gates. So there are 1,000 in numbers, which stands around say 233 meters. So this is a complex of around 100 150 acres where this temple is dedicated to the god of rice. Foxes are also there. So throughout the temple, you could see some of the shrines which look or which resembles foxes. So fox are thought to be the Inari's messengers, the god of rice's messengers. So you could see those statues in and around. And so once you enter the temple, you have these kinds of bamboo cleansing. So you don't have the conventional taps where the water literally drips. So which means that they conserve energy, they conserve nature, and they conserve most important resource, water. They don't just let it, it just drips. And the water dripping gets filtered and gets back. And there is no any kind of the whatever locally sourced available bamboo is there. They've made a series of taps based on that. And the slope is given in such a way that the water automatically recirculates. And the center image is basically the wish making place. So once you enter the temple before the deity, you had a beautiful wish making place where you could just write out on a bamboo strip. So as you could see here, a small bamboo strip, but you have to write it in Japanese. So it was something interesting that was happening there. So that was me with a couple of Japanese young women who were wearing the kimonos. So the people were so generous. So they are always smiling, ever sweet. So throughout my travel in Japan, I had been so convenient because of the people who helped me a lot in my travel. Being an independent traveler or having a map, so where the language is not English. When you travel across the Western countries, the language shouldn't be a problem. But here I have had people who had literally caught my hand and put me into a bus stop and got in the bus. So there are a lot of ways people have been caring and helped me throughout the world. So in my thought, Japanese people are one of the happiest people in the world. So towards the right is the Golden Temple, the Golden Pavilion called as Kinkakuji Temple. Interestingly, this is set along a beautiful landscape. The mountain wraps it around with a kind of a Zen landscape and a water body in the front. You could see the reflection of the building through the water. So it is a three-story building in the complex called as Rakunji. So basically, this temple has three different types of architecture. So as an architectural student, I have always come across these three different types of styles. So one is Shinden, Samurai, and Zen style. Zen, I think most of you should have heard about. Zen gardens is the common term that everyone uses. So the pavilion successfully incorporates three different styles of architecture, where the first floor, that is in our terms, it's the ground floor. It's basically the Shinden Zukuri style, which means whitewashed walls, with a tinge of wood, orchestrating smooth inner and exterior. So you have deep verandas where the interior and the exterior get connected. So the Shinden style of houses were prevalent in around 11th century, where the building opens up to the nature through these wide verandas, and the use of material would be wood with whitewashed walls, earth walls. So that was the style followed in the first floor. And then when you go to the second and third floor, the exterior remains the same, but the interior has a little difference, where the second floor is dedicated to the samurai people who are the preserving who preserve the religion. So it is completely dedicated to them. And the third floor is for a Buddha shrine, formalizing Chinese Zen style architecture. And the Golden Pavilion is also surrounded with a Japanese strolling garden. So it's basically go and around the ability. So you have a beautiful walkway. So the temple complex itself reflects the style and thoughts of Zen to go around. So it has a strolling garden. The next interesting part of my trip was this railway called as Inoden Railway. So I took this on my way to the Mount Fuji complex. So I just halted in this place called as Kanagawa, where you could see this Buddhist shrine. It's a very small place to visit, but still it had beautiful experience, like a little peace of mind that you get. But the way to that place was very interesting. So I got this 150-year-old railway Inoden, which connects local communities. Literally, you can just jump off from one's house into the train. So that was so close. So the train had become part of the community. When you travel through it, it was a different experience. It was unlike different trains that you see in crowded streets of Vietnam or even in Thailand. This is a very different style of train that wraps around the community. Next was the traditional kimono tea ceremony hosted in specific time lots in Kyoto. So you get the opportunity to have high tea with Japanese people. And sometimes, if you're in luck, you would just hit or run into a geisha. In simple terms, geisha is a woman or a Japanese hostess who entertains men with her dance and music performances. So during the evening, sometimes you may also end up hitting into a geisha if you're lucky. So I got an opportunity to travel to Hakone. So as I said, Mount Fuji. So you could see the views of Mount Fuji from the place I stayed. This is one of the beautiful onsen hotels. So just to give you a background, Hakone is a place where you have live hot springs, and this is the place where literally I bathed. So this is a hot spring complex where the hotels are built around the hot spring. And luckily, when you sit here, sometimes when you're lucky and when the weather is clear, you get a clear and a direct view of the rising Mount Fuji. Otherwise, you need to take a drive around the mountain, go to a lake, and then view Mount Fuji. So luckily, we got this experience. Towards the right, you can see the train, that is the Hakone Frozen Railway. So my journey from Tokyo to Mount Fuji had different kinds of railways experience. So first is I took a Shinkansen, that is bullet train from one place to another. The next journey was through the Inoden Railway that I showed you in the previous slide. The third was through the Tozen Railway that you see here in this picture. And the last was through Hakone Ropeway. So the picture towards the left shows you the ropeway. So the cable car that takes you to the top of the Mount Hakone. Then I just got accommodated in the hotel with a beautiful view. And towards the right. So once you finish the Hakone trip, I got back. So I didn't get back the same way. I chose to come another way where I took this pirate ship. So interestingly, this experience was also so different for me, where you go through bus, train, and finally a cable car, and when you get back through a boat trip. So they had three different types of pirate ships. So I took this Royal 2, which has a striking red feature, and you also had some kind of sailors monument over there and steering wheels. So it takes you through the Lake Ashi, and then it drops you to another point where you can take the train back to Tokyo. So it was beautiful figure of sailors and different artifacts kept through the ship. So like the periodic cities of Japan, the contemporary life also thrives and adds life to cities. So Japan is not about only Edo. It has a lot of beautiful contemporary styled things to do on. So our first experience in Tokyo, once I got in the station, was taking this Haruka Express, which is basically Hello Kitty themed train. There are many themed train concepts operating in Japan. So underground shopping malls and mall districts is the beauty of new neighborhoods in major Japanese cities. So we have traveled almost close to Christmas occasion. So you could see how the city is basically lit up during the occasion. So next in any building, any city that would offer is the Sky Tower. So unlike the Sky Towers, Osaka had this beautiful building called as Umeda Building. So it is one of the most city's recognizable landmarks. It's basically two different 40-story towers connected at the top. You could see at the top, you could see a bridge, right? So that's basically a sky deck. So there is an escalator crossing the atrium space in the center. It There is an escalator that takes you to the top. So where this beautiful city in the night view or even the day view could be seen up. Nevertheless, to mention, you could also, towards the right, you could see the Kanazawa station, where this is also a contemporary setup of the tradition. So though they have these kinds of wooden rafters that are placed as an arch form, but a contemporary blend of a beautiful public space organized around a little stream that is flowing. Since Edo period had a lot of flourishing canals, they had beautifully recreated the small bridges and beautiful public spaces around it. Nevertheless, to mention the connected underground walkways explains the city's urban planning. So as an urban design student or a city planning student, I was very keen on looking at the ancient master plans that was done. So the city's master plan was literally 100 years old. You could literally cross or walk from one underground station to another or even more. So, like how you have the train tracks or the roads running in, they have beautiful underconnected walkways with beautiful shopping promenades on the ground floor as well. That is below the ground. So, this is one such image that you see towards the right. Uh, then Kyoto's westernmost district has this beautiful touristy place called as Arashiyama Forest. So historically, people during these heat waves or when it's literally humid, people tend to come to this 200 acres of bamboo forest to just feel chill. So historically, this has been used as a recreation space. So Arashiyama is a bamboo forest. Stepping into the bamboo forest, you see why the elite people of Japan chose to come walk around this landscape as their summer retreats. So this forest is jungly, thick of bamboo. This is around, say, 16 square kilometers in area. So you could see how much expansive spaces, and it extends into the mountains, foothills of the mountains. So along this route, when you walk along, you could also get a chance to see the romantic train on board. If you get time to explore, or if you get lucky, we can board the romantic train, which is like our Nilgiri Hill train, which is a slow train, which takes you along this beautiful picturesque landscape across. And I remember the end of the romantic journey had a kind of a whitewater rafting experience as well. So one can never forget the experience of a Shinkansen, that is a bullet train. So I happened to take a green car or the business class ticket in Shinkansen, which was so beautiful. Have traveled across, so it's called as green car, or even the local metro or the buses. So those are everlasting experiences. The time, speed, journey through these different landscapes in a slow and a very unforgettable one. So you can travel within and out of the cities in a time that you can never imagine. Osaka to Tokyo is hardly 2.5 hours. Tokyo to Kyoto is another 2 hours. So everything is split between how much ever the distance is. 4 to 4.5 hours is the maximum distance that you cover through the Shinkansen trains. And there are different speeds of Shinkansen trains as well. So all the cities of Japan show radiance towards contemporary architecture as well, with a lot of buildings adoring the city's skyline. They have beautiful architecture and all the buildings are worth a visit. They have different styles of buildings. So here you could see a kind of a casino, which is a very different, uniquely shaped building, uniquely colored building. You could see a sky tower. This is Kyoto Sky Tree. So there are a lot of contemporary architecture that fits the place as well. Nevertheless, to mention one of the premium districts in like the Manhattan in New York. So this is one of the premium districts in Tokyo. Ginza is the most famous upscale market for shopping, probably dining and entertainment district. It features a lot of boutiques, department stores, art galleries, nightclubs, and cafes. Just to mention, when I had a word with an Indian who had a restaurant there, so roughly 1 square meter of the space is worth 10 million yen. So that's incomparable. And it's making it one of the most expensive real estate in Japan. So it is where you can find the $10 or $20 coffee cups, where literally you can see every brand in fashion and cosmetics, and it has its presence. So I also got an opportunity to drive along the quaint coast with an international driver's license, but make sure you got to play by their rules. The rules are pretty strict. It's almost so with an international license, you could rent out a Toyota car. Toyota is famous, very famous there. So you can rent out a Toyota car and you can drive along. Next, never to miss it. In any country you visit, you will definitely have a sky tower, which gives you amazing views of the city. So here, the Tokyo Tower towards the left, which is resembling Eiffel Tower, is basically a Japanese communications and observatory tower that was built in around 1950s and 60s. So it's around 60, 70-year old. So it stands at a height of say around 300 meters. So that's literally around 1,000 feet, and it was one of the tallest structures in Japan. The structure is a typical component of Eiffel Tower. It was inspired through the lattice designs painted white and international orange. So it was white and orange so that it complies with the Japanese rules of safety regulations, air safety regulations. Most of the towers' main source are through antenna leasing. So any private operator can lease out to have their antenna, and tourism as well. So literally, this gets more than the Tokyo Skytree. This gets around 150 million visitors. That's what I. And below are beautiful sets of museums, restaurants, and coffee shops. So the other building that you see in the center is Tokyo Skytree. Skytree has reached a full height of 2,000. This is almost double the size of Tokyo Tower. It's 2,000 feet, making it the tallest tower in the world, second tallest tower, displacing the Canton Tower in the tower category. So at the end of our so though we had been visiting architecture and things like that, I wanted to also make sure I would see some circus event or some show that happens in Japan. So luckily I got in touch with one of my friend who resides there, who suggested me to go to this stadium, Aqua Stadium. It's called as Shinagawa Maxwell Aqua Stadium. It is a public aquarium located inside the Prince Hotel. So when you walk from the station, get down from this is the route that I took. So I just crossed the station and I got into a hotel and I exited into this dolphin show place. So the aquarium is just located as a part of beautifully built architecture of the hotel. It stays within the overall geography of that hill. Since partnering with Epson and Maxwell, the aquariums have incorporated beautiful projection mapping. So you could see a lot of technology. Probably I'll just show you one video at the end. They have beautiful dolphin shows as well. The stadium occupies around say 1,000 seats, and most of the shows that happens are full or at least half during even the weekdays. So my just to be frank, my son really enjoyed this show, as well as when we came out, the animal exhibits, the habitats of the animal exhibits, and the environment that they had set up was so beautiful. He enjoyed a lot of that. One definitely will skip this. This is not a part of this. This place that I show you is not a part of any touristy attraction. But since it is an architectural marvel designed by one of the architects that have been looked upon, Tada Ando. So Ometasando Hills is basically a underground and overground shopping complex built in 2005. So it is a series of urban developments by a builder. It occupies around 250-meter stretch. So that's around say 700, 800 feet. So the shopping complex is a boulevard style. It was designed with 130 shops. But when you walk across the street, name any brand, you will look at it. So every building is unique in terms of architecture through this scale. So I got into the station and I exited the station, walked down through the street. You name any brand in the world, they have their unique building styles. So this is one of the style neighborhoods that I've seen across the entire world. The art life, the depictions, the contemporary life across Japan was so unique. You could see a junction which is being done over here. which is an underground subway that leads out. So you can see how unique they treat every space. And towards the right is just a bridge that leads you into a national gymnasium. So you could see the artwork, the engravings that are done. It respects the colonial or the old age style, and it also depicts the functional use. So the artwork also blends with the kind of environment that it is set up in. This beautiful building that is nestled across the neighborhood is called the Yoyogi Stadium. The experience was literally a worth visit. It was designed by Kenzo Tengeki, another architect. It was built in the 1960s. So just imagine when the contemporary architecture or the postmodern architecture started. Such kind of buildings were so unique, right? It houses the national swimming and the diving events. There was also a basketball stadium that was built. Nevertheless, to say the architecture of the building is so unique.
Karthik, are you passing?
I think my screen is not moving to the next. I'm able to
Oh,
hear you. I think the screen sharing is stuck. Has it gone to the next slide?
no, no, no. We are not able to see your screen at all.
Okay,
We check.
I'm extremely sorry.
No, no, it's okay.
And my screen got stuck, so that's the
You are
reason I
still
took a pause.
still the host. You can reshare. You stop share and
Um,
reshare. Okay, so host has asked you to start your video. Start my video. What is that? Okay, maybe you clicked video or whatever. Maybe you can stop sharing and resharing.
I'm just trying. My screen is stuck as such.
No problem. So what we'll do, see, I mean, I also want to share, a few things. So while you are trying, right, I can do that. So one
Yeah,
of you, right,
definitely.
just, yeah. So, just to break the monotonous, presentation. I mean, it's not that, Karthik's presentation Karthik's presentation, of course, good. So, but just to, add fun, right? So I've created a quiz, actually. It's a very simple quiz. Can you all take your mobile phone, or if you're on the desktop, right, can you please type menti.com, www.menti.com. So we'll play the quiz and then we can come back once Karthik is ready. Is that okay? So what I will do, I'll share my screen. Okay, so can you, okay, I will claim. I'm claiming me as a host. So I'm sharing the screen. On the screen, you will see a menti.com. If you can go to menti.com, I can also show QR code and information on my screen. If you can go to menti.com and use this code 18635935. I will also type this on the chat window for everyone. So you can actually click if you're on the yeah, copy paste. Yeah, you can actually copy paste or type www.menti.com on your mobile browser and then uh, be there in the, you will open this way. Then meanwhile, I'll start this. So I've seen, right, four have joined. So anybody wants any help, then you can go to menti.com and enter this number. So four have joined. So on the screen, right, we're going to play now. So five have joined. Anybody wants to join? It'll be fun. So you can actually chat, type on your chat on the chat window if you want me to wait or if you want me to help you. Otherwise, it's very simple. Okay, six. All of you can join. Whoever is there on the call, even people from key turn side, you can join. Okay, so I'll give another 30 seconds and start. Okay, five are ready. So I'm going to start. First questions. So on the screen, right, what's the current population of Japan? So there are different options. I've only given, first question I've given more time, with 45 seconds. So on your screen, you're able to see, right? So 30 seconds or more there. So three have answered, five have answered. I think if all answers, then it says everyone has voted. So now it's going to show the answer. Okay, so 125.8 million is the correct answer. Two have answered correctly. Okay, now let's see the leaderboard. So it's based on the speed in which we answered, so the points are added. So Jay 970 points, Indra 808 points. Okay, well done. So I'll move on to the next one. The second question. You can join anytime, even if you could not join on the first question, so you can join on the second question. Okay. So if anybody wants to join, you can actually use www.menti.com and use the code that is shown on the top, 18635935. Okay, so I will start now. Second question: what is Shinto? I don't know whether Karthik mentioned in his presentation. So there are, this time I've given lesser time, so 6, 5, 4, everyone is okay. You are actually answering faster. So it's a religion, correct answer. So most of you answered correctly, 4. So I'm going to show the leaderboard. All right. So Jay and Indra, so you are actually leading the leaderboard, which is good. So I will move on to the next one. Here again, right? So more people can join. If you want to join now, use menti.com, use the code. I'll wait for 5-10 seconds and then I'll start. Okay, I'm starting. What's the most popular Western nickname for Japan? This must be an easy one. 15 seconds. The Red Dragon, Land of Rising Sun, Down Under, Land of Fire. Oh, you're again, answering fast. So Land of Rising Sun. Well done. I think all of you have answered correctly, which is good. So Land of Rising Sun is the correct answer. So I'll move on to the leaderboard. Let's see if there is any change in the leaderboard. Right. So it is actually the same, which is good. So let's move on to the next one. Right. So if anybody wants to join, you can join. So I'm going to start. If you're taking fastest train from Tokyo to Osaka, how long will it take? 2 hours, 30 minutes, 3 hours, 30 minutes, 4 hours, 30 minutes, 5 hours, 30 minutes. If you're taking the fastest train from Tokyo to Osaka, I think all of you have answered again faster. So let's see the answer. 2 hours, 30 minutes is the right answer. Most of you have answered correctly. Well done. Let's see the leaderboard. Wow. So Sanjay is moving forward, and Jay continues at the top. That's good to see. Jay Indra continuing the position. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So final question, sixth place ready, starting now. What is Sakura? 15 seconds. What is Sakura? Temple, cherry blossom, a food, a mountain. Most of you, I think, yeah, you have voted quickly. Let's see the correct answer. The correct answer is the name for the cherry blossom festival. So that's the correct answer. Let's see if this is going to change the leaderboard position. Wow, the last question actually changed the leaderboard position. And Nidra, you are reading this quiz. Congratulations, well done. And of course, well done others who participated enthusiastically. All right, thank you so much. So now, uh, so Karthik, now that I have shared the screen, I just want to quickly share something, and then you can actually take it from here. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, I'm ready with it. So I just got my
Yeah, yeah.
system back.
So 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that I'm talking about, I'm just talking. So just to tell you, right, Karthik is planning to curate his fixed departure Japan trip on May 1st. So 7 nights, 8 days trip. So we have the Okay, so we have the details in our website actually. So what does it include? Roughly it's costing 165,000 per person. That includes everything except flight and lunch. As you can see in the exclusion, the flight cost is around 70,000, 70 or 71,000. Then of course, there's a lunch part and plus small amount of travel insurance. Otherwise, right, whatever the itinerary that we have given in this page, that covers everything. So after this, right, I can also share with you if you can just ping us, ping anyone of us. And plus, right, so we also have we have certain private trips actually. We can do private trips. So cherry blossom is popular only in this month. We don't promote cherry blossom extensively because it's very difficult to predict, okay, because it's all nature, right? So 22nd is when it's likely to start. So it's since it's very uh, difficult to predict exact blossom arrival. So we don't plan anything around that. Of course, if you are planning to do Japan around this time, we can definitely help you travel. So we have different trips we have, of not only cherry blossom. There are different Japan trips that we have. We can actually discuss offline if you are interested. So that's about booking Japan trip. So why Japan trip curated by Karthik? I mean, you would have seen, right? So the amount of like knowledge that he has, so it'll be a great experience traveling with him. And of course, it'll all be the local, covering the local things, traveling in metro and so on. And the good thing is no RTPC are required for onboard and coming back to India. Okay, so that's why we recommend Japan trip along with Karthik. Uh, and then Okay, so now again, now that I'm sharing this quiz, I want to do one thing, and then I'll hand it over to Karthik to complete his presentation video. So sorry, once again. Okay, so I'll perhaps come back on this. So Karthik, I am going to transfer this to you. Okay, I'm making you as a host. You can now share.
Yeah, I'll just share. So we're anyways in the last part of our session. So just quickly wrap it up with the last 5 or 6 slides.
Hmm.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we were in this slide when we just got cut down. So anyway, I was talking about this beautiful Ometasando Hills that leads into this Yoyogi Stadium. So again, one of its kind of building, which was built in 1960s. It is another worth to visit. So you could see how beautiful landscape of, you could see the skyline of Tokyo in one part, the cross section of the building taking you through different levels, the building itself rising in a cantilevered arched form and forms a beautiful ship kind of a curvilinear organic it's like a iconic place to visit and the walk along. So I happened to get an opportunity to walk inside the stadium where you could see these organic landscapes and walkways splitting into different levels and gives you beautiful views, stunning views of the building. So as an architecture student, I was overwhelmed to take a look at this entire site in place, but it's still worth a visit. Uh, and finally, before we wrap up, Akibara is a name that everyone has to keep in mind when you're traveling to Japan. So, in simple words, it's the electronic town or electric town. Shortly after the World War II, it became a major center for household electronic goods. So you could get anything. I have got a beautiful collection of Japanese electronics, which are still working pretty fine. But still, it is a must workplace. So if you are in Tokyo, Akibara is another must visit. It is considered by many as the epicenter of modern Japanese otaku culture. So otaku culture is basically the shopping district that offers video games, anime, manga, electronics, and computer related goods. So icons from popular anime and manga are displayed prominently on the roads, streets, and everywhere around this area. As you could see, a lot of anime poplets are there. People in Japan are so crazy about anime. Like you see anime stores, characters of anime worshipped by the kids or young adolescents and sometimes adults as well. So it is really worth the walking place. And if you have something in mind to purchase in electronics, you get it at a much cheaper price. Just to give you a comparative cost of Dyson blade cleaner, which is priced around 49,000, the Dyson vacuum, it's around 18 to 20,000 in Japan, so literally half price. So other than this, these two, Shibuya and Shinjuku, are other major districts to walk around. Shibuya crossing is the busiest crossing in the world. So I'll just try to share a video after the presentation of that as well. So basically, from traditional to contemporary, Japan has a lot to serve, but not less in terms of unique things. So Japanese bidet is definitely one thing which you would see in any hotels or any bathrooms that you see, self-cleaning toilets, which are very unique to Japan. And interestingly, when I visited this Edo period museum, I got an interesting information that Japanese used static electricity to straighten their hair. You could see that electric shock hair, right? So that was a kind of a fantasy for Japanese people in Edo period. And towards the right, you could see how water harvesting is cleverly done and aesthetically done like a fountain, like a small wooden setup of fountain. And this is another intent of my visit. I have done a lot of extensive literature study on this beautiful public toilet through these are transparent toilets designed by Shigeru Ban, where when a person enters inside, it becomes opaque and otherwise it is open. So it is a beautiful public installation. So they give a lot of importance to public places and public toilets. So you can never imagine a public toilet of this scale and this size and this aesthetics in our country. And of course, fantasy about Kit Kat is much more wider in Japan, where you get many flavors of Kit Kat, where you had seen Kit Kat in just one or two flavors in India. Kit Kat it is a Kit Kat market in simple terms. And towards the right is a museum of noodles that I visited, where you have hundreds and thousands of varieties of noodles that are kept for display. And never to forget the discipline of the Japanese people, as you could see people queuing around the station waiting for the train. So they are self-made people. They are obedient, they are selfless, they are independent, and they respect other people. They respect elders, but queue means queue. And the anime is what that I often tell about talking on Japan. So you have these souvenir shops that are based on anime in every place in every district. Bullet train is a never miss if you go to Japan, traveling from one city to another city. Morning, you are in Osaka, and evening, you can come back to Osaka after visiting Tokyo. So the travel is so easier. And you have vending machines for anything and everything. You can buy anything. Like here, vending machines are only for food, but there, even you, a car could be bought by a vending machine. So vending machines and technology has filtered into the least part of the people agenda. So just a short summary or things of remembrance that I felt proud about in my trip was beautiful buildings, well preserved architectural and community history, the technologies that they have pioneered. And when you move to the countryside, you literally feel the countryside. The buildings and the people interact with nature. The love for their love for nature, their care for every small aspect is literally shown. Even the people today are so selfless and they help in a lot of things and they preserve the natural resources. And they have very good discipline, timely work, no saying no. Anywhere you want to ask anything, any help you get from a Japanese, they help you selflessly. They never say no to anything. So the summary of this is Horeta Yamai Suri Nashi, meaning there is no remedy for falling in love, especially when you travel around Japan. So I don't deny the fact that there are beautiful landscapes that are existent in every part of our own country, in other Western countries as well. And this is unique to its own. So thank you so much, Keatons, and for the opportunity. And I thank all the other participants as well for hearing me through the entire presentation. So I'll just close
Uh,
this and I just take a moment to share one or two videos of my trip so that it gives you
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
a feel of that as well. So I'm just
Sure, sure,
stopping
sure, sure.
sharing. Is my screen visible?
So while you're trying, are you going to play now?
Yeah. Is my screen
Okay.
visible?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm not sure about the sound, but the video should be playing.
If you shared with the sound, when you share, right, it asks actually, can you stop and share, reshare again? There is a bottom left, you will see, start sound,
So
something like that.
it was, but anyway, sound was not so important. But anyway, that was Shibuya crossing, one of the busiest crossings in the world. So I happened to go to the top of the tower, which is next. So there is an observatory deck at the 20th floor, which offers a beautiful top view of people crossing across. So it is one of the busiest crossings in the entire world. Just one more video to share so that I'll just take one few moments of your time.
Can you
This was
replay that video again?
the Shibuya crossing, right?
Yeah.
1 minute. Due to time constraints, I've just shared one video, but later if you need other videos, I have a lot more videos because consolidating everything together was little, I mean, the
Hmm.
time was also pressing, so I didn't want is it playing now?
No,
Now?
no. Yeah, it is.
You see thousands of people crossing every time, especially in the evenings, it becomes overcrowded.
Hmm.
And just one more video. I actually had 4 or 5 more videos to share, but since the time is pressing, I'll just share one more video so that there's 1 or 2 more videos. This was one of the interesting technologies which I am also trying to incorporate it in my office, which I learned from there. I'm just sharing it for you.
Okay. Is it a design presentation?
So interestingly, I got to take a look at this technology, which is about a projection, and through projection, you can interact with it. So every kind of information about that particular, this was in the Maxwell Park, the Aqua Park. So it displayed every element of the particular aquarium interactively. So that was one more interesting thing. And just one more video that I walked through the Samurai district. So I'm just sharing that as well. It was drizzling when I walked through the street. So the adobe walls that I was talking about. So the streets are pretty narrow, the samurai houses. It's a wattle and daub wall. So every street was north-south oriented and the water slopes down to the main road. So it was carefully planned. It was more or less similar to Chettinad architecture, which already I have studied. So I could see the resemblance of, except for the street width, the characteristics of management of the town was almost similar. So yeah, with this, I would just
Excellent.
to
Yeah,
close.
and so let's open it for Q&A. So any questions from anyone? If you want to, understand anything specific, you can ask. Karthik can answer. So while you're, thinking about the question, and you can also put it in the chat window, or you can actually open the microphone and ask. While you're thinking, right, I can.
Uh, uh, Sanjeev here. Thanks,
Yes, sir.
Karthik. Nice presentation.
Yeah, I see.
Uh,
Thank you.
is Okinawa accessible, or is it's you have to get permission to?
Oh, Okinawa, right?
Uh,
After the light tremors that I felt, now I'm not sure it is it is open, but it is an accessible place. From Fukuoka, you have a ferry that takes you to Okinawa, and you have still they practice snorkeling there. So if you want to go around a snorkel, Okinawa is the right place.
no, Okinawa is where all the 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 oldest living societies and all are there, right?
I'm not sure if the societies are still present. It has become more civilized now, but I'm not sure about. I don't have information about the ancient society still living.
Okay.
But it was accessible. Last year it was open. It is far down into the South China Sea. It's almost far away from the Japan mainland.
Thanks.
Any questions from anyone? Did you like? If you like this presentation, can you give some thumbs up on the reaction? And at any point in time, right, if you have any questions on the visa or anything else, right, you can connect with us because we already started doing some Japan trips. Thank you, Jai. Presentation was very good. Definitely, Japan is going to your destination. Thank you, Karthik and Keaton, for an insightful meeting. Thank you. Is the package include I mean visa cost? No, the visa cost we have not. Okay, so I have to share the presentation and show you what is. So the Karthik trip that we are planning, that includes, yes, visa. Correct. We have included visa. Quickly share. We can also share it offline. I will take the host. Yeah, just bear with us 1 moment. So as you can see, right, the cost is 1,56,000 per person. That includes duration by Karthik and 3 nights stay in Osaka, 1 night in Hakone, 4 nights in Tokyo, with a complimentary breakfast and dinner, and local 7 days metro passes, bus and bullet train transport, visa, which takes around 5 to 7 days. Visa cost is included, GST. So what is excluded is the airfare, lunch, and then some of the things like travel insurance. Otherwise, everything is included.
Really? Sorry to interrupt. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This lunch cost is 3,000 rupees per day, right?
See, basically, what we have done is, so because we'll be on the go, right? The lunch what we will eat is around something like noodles. Karthik, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why, right? It cost seems to be low, but the lunch what we have included is some noodles that we get on the fast food food joint.
Yeah, it was considered more of pick and go because we were not sure if we would come back to uh, the hotel to have lunch. So it's more or less a pick and go concept.
Correct. That's why the cost is, cost is not
And the
much.
food will be, I'm a vegan, Srini. Can I get
I know.
vegan food for 3 times a day?
Vegan is widespread. I mean, it is available everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good news then.
Okay. No meat, no milk, no egg, no fish.
Yeah, vegan and non-veg is available. So if you're a vegetarian, we would have to go to Indian restaurants where you have dosas and what we have in Saranabaum. So that is
Okay.
also possible.
So vegan food is not a problem.
A vegan is not a problem.
Wow. Very good. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, so what is the accommodation class? Okay, so um, sorry, so I'm just reading your messages now, sir. So package visa I explained. How is the climate during that period? May 1st, first week, how will be the climate? Karthik, can you explain?
Yeah, it is after winters, right? So it's almost getting into the spring where we have these cherry blossoms. So it is pretty moderate. It's not extremely cold.
Okay.
It
Accommodation
is a
class.
manageable plan.
Yeah, sure. So it's a 3-star hotel stay is what we are planning, on all days, all nights at all places. So it's a 3-star, not less than 3-star. So I'm reading it. What's accommodation? So colleagues selling themselves. I hope I answered your question. Okay, thanks. So yeah, climate we explained. So accommodation class we explained. Okay,